the Dell Technology Forum in Warsaw, and by the way, the forums are, in my opinion, those are the best forums because, as I said to everyone, these are platforms for learning for both of us. Not only the customers and enterprises and partners learn from us, but also we will learn from them, especially when they spend time across the expo, talking to our colleagues, listening to what they're trying to do, discussing their ideas and how we can also transform those ideas into innovation. Usually as an innovative company, we drive innovation. We don't drive it out of the cloud. Yeah, we need to hear about what the people needs, what those organizations from healthcare, education, security and defense needs, and we take those ideas back to our engineering and we try to come up with the right solutions for those. So I love those forums. Here in Warsaw is very unique. The Dell Technology Forum in Warsaw, I see a lot of engagement, not only with the number of people who are attending, but also with the quality of people. I love how they're engaging also across the expo and across the booth, and about the eager to go and learn and be also innovative and ahead of the curve. Because look, we are living in this industry, we're living in a race. And I said before on stage to people, our objective is to become your partner, your innovation partner, and to make sure that we're keeping you staying ahead, because what's happening next is actually happening now. Balance between the innovation and the control infrastructure is becoming a hot subject, especially with AI. From one side, you cannot stop the innovation. Like AI is definitely reshaping the way we're doing business, the way we're living. It's becoming a necessity. Actually, enterprises are gonna be competing and racing toward how they can use AI. It's gonna introduce a lot of benefits. AI is very much depending on data, and data is the most critical assets that any company have. And therefore, exposing this data can be a big subject. And the security aspect, how we can control the data, how can we make sure that this data is being saved and secured, is definitely the #1 subject, which open up several subjects around sovereign AI, about the hybrid cloud. And I can tell you also from many experiences, a lot of companies and enterprises, when they started to use AI, they needed something quick, off the shelf. They went to the cloud. And when they started benefiting from it, they realized that, okay, I can use it more, and to use it more, I need to tap into more and more about my data. And that was the question. I'm not willing to put my data anywhere across the public clouds. And therefore, we're seeing a lot of repatriation happening from the cloud to the on-prem in order to run these workloads, these AI workloads, closer to the data. So look, it's a balance. From one side, you need to innovate and embark the journey, but also you need to be careful where to run these workloads and how can you secure this data in order not to jeopardize your most important asset. Data sovereignty is also becoming a hot subject, specifically because of what we just mentioned. And this is where the cloud providers, they started to realize that a lot of enterprises are not willing to really run these AI workloads and store their data anywhere. Therefore, we started to see a lot of local rules and regulations, where local CSPs or managed services started to adhere and follow these governmental and rules and regulations in countries in order to offer choices to customers. So if I am an enterprise and I'm not being able to run my own environment for AI, definitely my choice should not be to go to a public cloud provider, rather than have something local under certain governance, under specific rules and regulations, where it's secure to me that, hey, my data is not going to jeopardize. Especially here in the world we're living in today. We're living in a crazy world with a lot of geopolitical situation. We have to be very much careful about what we are building and how we are going to do it. Therefore, the subject of sovereign AI is becoming one of the hottest subjects, and it will continue to be. How Dell help customers in securing and accelerating the AI adoption? We have our framework, we call it the Dell AI Factory. And with the Dell AI Factory, this is where we engage with customers to help them in selecting the relevant use case for their business to deliver the right outcomes they're delivering for. But also, the most important thing is basically, today is not anymore which technology you want to use. There are a lot of available off-the-shelf solutions, AI technologies and software that are available for your own use. The most important one and the most challenging one is how can we make sure that this data is prepped for these AI workloads. how can we make sure that we're putting the right information in these AI workloads in order to get the outcome that you are looking for. And from our own experience also, our own experience as Dell in adopting AI, we came up with a lot of great ideas that is helping us to deliver much more revenue and cut down costs, as I said. The most challenging part of any AI workload, the hurdle, is around the data. You need to discover this data. You need to understand who's owning it. You need to make sure that it can be ingested in these AI workloads. By the way, AI workloads do not normally talk to the databases we're used to in the past decades, like Oracle database or SAP. It's more about talking to a vector database, a graph database, and things like that. So preparing this data is also important. And as we said, while you are ingesting this data in the AI workload, and it's becoming the most important assets to those workloads in order to deliver the outcome, you want to make sure that we're doing it in a secure way. So this framework of the Dell AI Factory, it is coupled also with services, with the right infrastructure, with the partner ecosystem, to give enterprises the end-to-end solution, including how you should worry about sustainability and how can you have security. We have our own cyber resiliency solutions that we also make sure it's part of the infrastructure for AI. How can we make sure we help enterprises to secure their environment by detecting, by securing, by defending, by making sure also we can restore this data quickly without being attacked. When it comes to the cloud, by the way, we in Dell, we love clouds, don't get us wrong, but it has to be done right. There was this debate that started more than a decade ago about whether this world is going to be running on few public clouds across the globe. And the reality is not. Today, the fact is we're running in a hybrid multi-cloud environment. Enterprises need choices to run any workload anywhere they like, depending on their needs, be it from a service level, performance like, depending on the cost, because sometimes you go to a public cloud and you see that, or you find out that it is very costly. Actually, with a recent survey we did, 62% of the respondents across the globe, they start noticing that running those AI workload on-prem is more cost effective. And that is true. Now, with the AI is a little bit also different. AI, like any other workloads, can run in also a multi-cloud, hybrid cloud environment. That's absolutely correct. But because of the dependency of AI workloads on the data, and because it really needs to access this data quickly and securely, we're seeing a lot of enterprises repatriating from the clouds to run it on-prem. So we believe, again, we have to enable customers to give them the choice with a multi-cloud, hybrid cloud environment. That is absolutely correct. But with time, we're going to see that once any enterprise starts using AI more and more, and they needed to tap more into their data, especially the critical data, this is where they're going to make decisions to come and run these workloads closer to their data, which is on-prem. This is going to be the hybrid cloud world, but yes, AI is going to make maybe some shift toward the dependency on local premises.